Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the Fintech Hunting Podcast. We have an amazing guest for you today. She's a leading originator. She's a system and process expert. She's passionate about work, networking, and adding value to people in the mortgage industry. She coaches. She continues to give back, and I couldn't be more excited to welcome her to the show. Please help me welcome Cameron Watson. She's a senior mortgage loan officer, Coastal Custom Mortgage, and she's part of the Lariscy Watson Mortgage Team. Cameron, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Michael, so much for having me. As always, such an amazing intro. I'm going to record just that and introduce myself with that all the time.
Well, it is well deserved. You do an incredible job in the industry. There's so many things I want to talk about. You know, when people are talking about it, it's a tough market. Yeah, you got to work the market, but I love hearing from people like you that are just saying, I just had my best month and I think I'm going to have a better month this next one coming up. So let's first start, for our listeners who don't know you, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into the mortgage industry?
Yeah. So I've been in the mortgage industry for 17 years. I started at the very beginning. I won't say the bottom, the very beginning. I came in as a receptionist, and it was really, the job was supposed to be until I figure out what I want to do with my life. And it turned out it was something I really enjoyed and did very well at. And I have held a number of positions. I moved into a loan officer assistant position. I did that for a number of years. And then I was a team lead for a high production team of 3 loan officers, leading the sales for their team of upwards of $100 million a year. From there, I moved into an operations manager position. And what I really found as I moved through these positions and through the industry was that the process was flawed. I found myself on the backside putting out a lot of fires and cleaning up a lot of messes that didn't need to be done. And so about 2 years ago, I went, you know what? I can do this right on the front end and avoid all of these fires on the back end. And that's when I stepped out on my own as an originator and joined up with Daniel, and we created the Lariscy Watson Mortgage Team. And we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
Well, I love it. And I think there's so many experiences and lessons learned from what you just stated, right? We're in a tough mortgage market. No one's denying that. Rates are fluctuating. They're higher than what people are used to, at least over the last couple of years. But when you talk about it, you know, you look at one of the things people are struggling with, lenders are struggling with, the cost to originate. And I love your very systematic approach to, if we do it right on the front end, not only are we going to help lower the cost to originate a loan, but we're also going to deliver a better borrower experience.
100%.
There's less friction, there's less chasing down documents and all of those things. So I love that. Talk to me a little bit about, before we go into all of the cool things that you're doing, as an originator, what are some of the challenges you're facing in the industry? Because I think it helps set the stage for, there's the challenge, but here's how you've already come up with a lot of cool solutions.
Yeah, I think what most originators are facing in the industry across the country right now is the lack of inventory. So we've got the buyers, we've got the people who want to buy homes, but we don't have enough homes for all of them. So obviously that creates this multiple offer situation. It creates a lot of buyers making offers that aren't accepted, and then you're getting a lot of that buyer burnout, right? That are going, you know, screw it, I'm just gonna rent. I don't even want to go through this anymore. That's a big one right now. And the other one that's just glaringly obvious is the interest rates. We're in a higher rate environment than we've seen in years, right? And people got really used to those really low rates really fast. And so now they're seeing those higher rates and going, well, I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to buy a house at this rate. I'm just going to continue to rent or continue living where I'm at. I'm not paying these rates. So those are our 2 biggest objections right now.
Well, and I agree. And I think one of the biggest competitors for everyone out there originating loans is status quo. I'll just wait. I'm just going to sit on the fence right now. And the key is, The inventory, there's not a lot that we can do about as originators. We can't just change the inventory.
Right.
But I think the interest rates are something that good originators can address. Too many times people focus just on that number and they don't understand all the things that go into payments. They don't go into all of the different methodologies of maybe you can put a little bit more down. Maybe that you're going to get an adjustable rate mortgage. Maybe and soon as the button clicks to you're now a trusted advisor versus just somebody who's hawking a mortgage,
Right.
great things happen. So let's talk about some of the things you've done to become more of a trusted advisor.
So, from the rate standpoint, we're really trying to show the buyers all of their options from every different perspective, not just buy versus rent. I think there's a lot of buyers who go, this is what I want right now, and I can't get that, I can't afford that. So, buying is just off the table. And so, a lot of what we're trying to do is show them if you wait, what is the cost of waiting? Yes, it might be a higher interest rate, but you are still purchasing a home. You're still paying down principal. You're still contributing equity. You're still in a home that is appreciating in value as opposed to paying rent, and that money is going out the door. You're never going to see it. And so maybe you're not getting your ideal home right now, but you're at least in an appreciating asset that gives you that stair step to get into your dream home. Renting is not doing that. And then obviously there's, if you wait until home prices go up, there's additional cost, there's all of these things. So that's really one of the things we are giving our buyers all of the information, all of the tools to make the best financial decision for them. Take the rate out of it or make it a very minimal part of it. Give them all of the numbers from every perspective.
I love that. I think it's so critical. And I think too many times people only focus on rate. And if the originator can't explain all of the other factors that go into purchasing that asset and all of the different variables, and to your point, the options, as soon as you start giving people the options and helping them make an informed decision, then guess what? They start looking at you as that trusted advisor, that thought leader
Exactly.
who's got insights. Let's shift the gears a little bit. You're an originator. How do you get your name out there? How do you build those relationships with real estate agents? How do you grow that side? Because we all know how important purchase market is,
Yeah.
but you got to have those realtor connections. Talk to me about some of the strategies that you've incorporated to grow that network.
Well, what I've learned over the past year to year and a half is that there are a lot of strategies when you really explore your options. When I first got into originating, I had other coaches and I had other loan officers saying, well, you need to prospect, you need to prospect. And that's great. But what is prospecting? This is one of the first conversations you and I had when we started talking. And I had another loan officer say, well, prospecting is anything that grows your business. And I said, well, that's great. What's going to grow my business? And, cold calling is a big one. And I said, I am not a cold caller. And to me, I really feel like I know that there are loan officers out there that it works for, and that is great. I am your biggest cheerleader, but for me, it's not. For me, it felt like a waste of time. It was very uncomfortable. And I really just wasn't getting any return on my time for it. And so what I started doing is getting involved in the real estate community on a very personal level. Daniel and I started initially, we started going to open houses. And in the beginning, that was also very awkward. We found ourselves going to open houses. There's buyers there, the agents there, and we just kind of felt like we were lurking. And so we were like, maybe this isn't the right thing to do. And we talked about that also. And one of the best pieces of advice was instead of making the interaction about you getting something, make the interaction about you giving something. And so what we started doing was creating these, we call them, open house survival kits. And it's just simple. It's a little white bag. And we put those things in there that an agent might need while they're sitting in an open house. And it's, a bottle of water, a snack. And then what are the other things they might need? A pen and a notepad. One of the biggest things that we added to this that was your suggestion, and it's a gold mine, and it's so simple, was measuring tapes. You have buyers come into a home and they want to envision them and themselves in this house. And they're going, will my sofa fit here? Does my bed fit here? And so we got measuring tapes from the dollar store. We put our sticker with a logo on it and we gave them to the agents. And what's so funny now is I see agents now and they all go, I still have your measuring tape in my purse. I take it everywhere. It's genius. And I had an agent say to me, this shows me that you know what we do. And that swelled my heart. That told me that we were doing something right and we were connecting to the agents. We were going to an open house. We are bringing them something that is of value. And instead of you now being that creepy loan officer that's lingering around an open house, they actually want to talk to you. They're going to get something from you. Not that they're greedy, but they're getting something from you. It takes away the awkwardness. And then what we found is we were having a hard time getting out of open houses. These agents wanted to talk to us. They wanted to ask questions. And without the awkwardness of a cold call, we automatically created a warm handoff to ourselves. We established a relationship right then and there.
I love that. And you're so right. When you add value to people, instead of having your hand out, which a lot of people, what do? They call the real estate agent and say, hey, do you want to join me for a Starbucks? And everyone's like,
Yep.
no, because what's going to happen? Soon as I sit down, you're going to give me that hard pitch.
Mm-hmm.
When you started delivering value to them, like you said, you couldn't get out of the open house because they
Yeah.
had more questions.
Mm-hmm.
What did it also do for your business?
Oh, it grew exponentially. And I just want to take a step back a little bit because there's another part of this that kind of wove in, you know exactly what I'm going to talk about. And that is still, it's video and digital media, social media. When we first started working together, I was not a video person. I was not a social media person. I know I'm being told I should do this, but I really don't want to. And you challenged me to do a video a day for 30 days and told me after 30 days it would change my business. And I did not believe it, but I'm not a girl to step away from a challenge. And so I went, all right, I will do this. And after 30 days, then I can say this is BS. And after 30 days, my business had exploded. And I say all of this because that also was a bridge to growing those relationships at open houses, at networking events, at all of these events, these other things that we were doing. We found ourselves going into open houses, and before we were even through the front door, people are going, oh my God, I know you from Facebook. Oh my God, I saw your post the other day. I got your markets in a minute. That's great. I love it. And so we weren't even walking into open houses, before we even gave them something. There wasn't even any awkwardness of, hey, we're a lender, we're walking in the open house. People were opening the door and welcoming us in. And what we found is then going to open houses was a lot of fun. We loved, and I still love doing it.
Well, and so what I love is you're looking at the market conditions, you're looking and saying, hey, where can I change? What do I need to tweak? The market shifted. It shifted to a purchase market. Refis were going away. Rates were climbing. And what I love about working with you and talking about these stories is you do an incredible job of taking any input and then you execute.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you didn't love doing videos. I remember the first video I did, I had done one selfie in my life before that video. First one, it's awkward and it's in a hotel room. I'm at a conference and I'm wearing AirPods, and a good friend of mine in the industry, soon as I post that, he dings me, hey, it looks like you're wearing earrings, Hammond. And I'm just really, but once you start doing them,
Mm-hmm.
you just become comfortable. It becomes second nature.
Yeah. The first video I did was of Daniel making dinner. I just wanted to be comfortable. I needed to be comfortable just putting video out there, no matter what the content was. And so the first 30 days, most of the content was not me, and it was not work related. I mean, there was some in there, but I did a lot, We do a lot of cooking. We have dogs. We make wine. Like these are the things that are who we are. That is not as that a lot. I've heard people say it's scarier to put the personal stuff out. For me, putting the personal stuff out was easier. I was afraid I was really going to be judged for my work content. So when I got comfortable I put a ton of videos of my dog there, and my dogs get more engagement than anything else. My dog's out there, us bottling wine, making dinner, and just not even being on camera, but just the act of putting video out there was, once I got over that hurdle, everything else snowballed.
Well, and what you've described is you've humanized your brand. The mistake people make with videos is thinking that because I'm in the mortgage industry, every video I put out there has to be about mortgages.
Mhm.
And it doesn't. You know it as well as I do. Who do people buy from? People they know, people they trust, people that
Right.
they like. And how do they determine that? Well, if they can say, hey, I like wine, or I make wine, or I have a dog, or as soon as they start relating to you, then as you share mortgage information and you do it in a subtle way and it adds value, when I have a choice, I would rather work with Cameron than I would rather work with that other person who's never added
Yeah.
value and I don't know anything about them.
There's a great example of this, and this was kind of that moment where I went, aha. Daniel and I made homemade pizza, and I posted it on social media. And I got a message from an agent that said, "This looks amazing. Where did you get this from?" And, I replied back and said, "We actually made this." And it started a conversation. Well, through his social media, I knew that he was a hunter and, shot. And we actually that week had a philanthropic, a fundraising clay shoot coming up. And we had one person on our team that dropped out. And I went, "Hey, he's a hunter. I'll call him." I had never met him before in my life. I had never met him. I had never had a conversation with him other than this engagement over social media. And I called him and I said, "Hey, it's Cameron with Coastal Custom Mortgage. I hope this isn't weird, but we have this clay shoot coming up. I know that you're a hunter. We have a space on our team. Would you like to come out and shoot with us?" And he went, "Yeah, that would be great." He came out the next day. He spent all day at the tournament with us. We had his attention. And the next thing I know, we're obviously talking about mortgage, talking about real estate. We're building a relationship. We get along very well. And just that simple, because I posted something about pizza on social media, I've started a relationship in 24 hours with an agent. It works. It just doesn't always work the way people think it does.
Well, and I couldn't agree with you more. And I love it's all about putting yourself out there, sharing content, adding value to people. And it's going to start attracting like minded people. It's going to start attracting people. So many great examples. What are some of the things we haven't talked about coaching yet, but I want to make sure we touch upon coaching. Why
Absolutely.
is coaching so important? You've been in the business 17, 18 years. You know the mortgage process, you know the back end of it. You have a lot of great insights. Why do you think coaching is valuable and how has that kind of helped you grow your business?
Nobody is ever too good to not need to get better, right? You look at professional athletes. These are the best athletes in the world, and they have coaches. They have multiple coaches. And the same thing comes with your business, and not just mortgage, I think any business. One of the things that I kind of realized is that it's not always just about growing your business. You as a professional can grow from coaching in a multitude of ways. We have another loan officer who's new to the mortgage industry, and she's starting off needing to work on her processes. But I also know professional, long-standing mortgage loan officers who go, "I've hit this plateau. I'm a phenomenal mortgage originator, but I can't get past 40 million or 50 million. Growth is not what they necessarily need to work on. They've got the growth. They don't have the processes in place. They don't have the efficiencies to continue to grow. I have another loan officer. She works with her coach on work-life balance. So coaching does not have to be, it's not this tunnel vision. I am coaching to get more business. It is, I am coaching to optimize my business in whatever way pertains to you. And working with a coach is that reflection to help you see the things that you don't necessarily see. And so I don't think anybody's ever too good to not need coaching.
Oh, I love it. And Cameron, you've had so many great insights from open houses, and we didn't even talk about attending closings and the importance of that. You've mentioned video technology that you can use to leverage a lot of those things. You are welcome back as a guest anytime because you have so many great insights. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, if they want to find out more about how you got started in video, some of the things you're doing for the leave behinds with real estate agents, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
I'm accessible. Whatever works best for you works best for me. So if you want to call, text, email, reach out to me on social media. My direct cell phone number is 912-341-9743. If you want to email me, Cameron@coastalcmtg.com. And social media, you can find me everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm out there.
Cameron, thank you so much for being a guest on this episode of the Fintech Hunting Podcast.
Thank you. I look forward to joining you again.